How does that look?
That looks good. Yeah.
Welcome back to Artist Fine with me, Keely V. I made these 3 colors using primary paints and added Floetrol to use like a glaze to kind of match the background to get the effect of this picture. I put the paints in this 3-gallon bucket, making it easy to carry the glazes around and contain any spills, and also a good place to put the brush when I'm not using it. The brush is a chip brush to apply the glazes, and I'll be using a damp terry cloth for the faux finish. And you can see I do like a wash, like a color wash, and using the texture from the terry cloth to give it a stipple faux effect. Now I'm going to be doing some decorative painting because this is supposed to be like a steampunk kind of theme I'm doing. And I'm using the darker colors first in the corner because that's where I'm going to put the octopus, and I really want him to look like he's coming out of the shadows. So really this faux finish is like, it's a custom faux finish to go with the picture, and I'm kind of using that idea. And when you're putting the paint on, you don't want any straight lines. You want it irregular and random, like when light comes shining through the shadows. In water, it never reflects light in the same place. Now I'm using the green and blue together for the shadowing, and then I'm going to start adding a little bit of the tan to make it feel like the light is filtering through. I recommend taping off your molding, your trim, and the baseboard to keep it nice and clean. I've been doing this for a very long time, so I didn't need to. I have plenty of practice how to use and manipulate the chip brush to kind of mimic the finish I'm doing. And what I do is I kind of build it up from the baseboard and pull it downward towards where the faux finish is going to be. And again, you can see I'm trying to make sure that there is no straight lines, no up and down. You kind of want to go in all over. And keep in mind to look like light is shining through the shadows. And also I want to say that ahead of time I planned where I was going to paint everything. I wanted the octopus to be very dominant. They're kind of coming from the shadows in the corner and have its arms reaching all out. And then below I'm going to do some fish and some marine life like live coral, seagrass. Now some of these colors I put together, you'll see I'll go back and forth. One, and I will use just the darker blue. Then I'll come back and add, the other color. And then I can sometimes use two colors together, which is the green and blue. Again, that's the colors I use for shadow. What you gotta do is you gotta blend them all together on top of each other, and as you're going spreading it out on top of the other layer, it gets thinner and thinner. Now this is not straight paint. I use Floetrol. Floetrol is used to thin paint out without changing the pigment to make it easier to flow and use in an air sprayer. I use it like a glaze because it keeps the paint wet longer, makes it easy to move around and, you know, do whatever effect you want to do. Also, Floetrol is easy to find. It's in most stores, and it's also inexpensive compared to other glazes. And don't get me wrong, I love expensive glazes. They actually make it even easier to do different faux finishes and decorative painting, but I just wanted to show that you can do it with also an inexpensive product that's easy to find. Now it's really tricky getting down to the baseboard. Even I, someone who's been doing this for years, have it. It's not easy, so I will tape off the bottom at least. And once again, you see I just used one color instead of two or three together. And I just keep blending it and blend it into the other color. And once in a while I step back and look and see if I need to make any changes or where I need to add more shadow or light, while keeping in mind where I'm going to be painting the sea life. And by now my rag is getting saturated with paint, so I'm having to use less of the glazes and it becomes easier to spread around. That's why I damp the terry cloth before I get started, and I do smaller spots until the paint gets built up in the rag. And I like it when the paint gets built up in the rag because it makes it easier to use. Some painters don't like that. They don't like it getting too much paint in it, but I figured out, I guess, how to do it and have it without it getting too caked on in the rag. Because again, like I said, I put less and less glazes. And I also can go further and do bigger areas with the rag saturated with the paint. So now you see I use all three colors for this area. I'm doing this to bring it all together. It's like a puzzle and you want to fit the pieces together. This is like, I'm using a technique to do like a faux finish, but the way I'm putting this on, it's more like art than a faux finish because I'll be painting on top of it. I want it to have the feel of dark academia to go with the steampunk theme. I like the overall look, and it's gonna go really well with what I plan to paint on. Be sure to check out the next video in part 2, giving it a like steampunk twist.